they feel punishment, slave.
I sometimes scream out, no. When really they mean yes.
Yes, yes!
And this is why we have the safe word. Until we hear the safe word, we will not stop.
She's not a Christian!
Safe word with Jason Rouse.
Hey, this is Jason Rouse, and welcome to the Safe Word Podcast here today. I'm here with Scott McDonald and Jesse Lee Wolter here in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada at Shea Burrito. Scott is clearly uncomfortable about this conversation about to happen.
Yes.
And what's happening, guys?
Well, wait and see. The world is, we're waiting to see, but I don't think we're going to get naked, so. Well, getting naked.
Let's give a little backstory. Okay. I was born in 1971. You were born in 71?
72.
72?
73.
73. And you went to BR High School here in Hamilton. Where did you went to our school over by Westdale, didn't you?
I went to Westdale, and I went to Westdale and to Cool School.
Yeah, I heard about the Cool School. That was like an art school. You made your own hours and stuff.
And you could smoke in it and stuff?
Yeah.
Could you smoke in the classroom?
Yeah.
What?
You could smoke and drink coffee in the classroom. Yeah.
You could smoke at Parkview. You couldn't do any of that.
Yeah. Well,
There was hourly beatings at Parkview Secondary School.
We were like the kids who were always truant, and so the majority, everybody who went there smoked pretty well.
Yeah.
Pretty well. All the teachers too.
You
So it
had
wasn't
girls
like-
in your school?
Oh yeah.
You had girls in your school.
Yeah.
I had no girls in my school. When I take the bus from Fiesta Mall, I'd have to go through Cardinal Newman, Bishop Bryan Cathedral, and all the
So
hot girls. All the hot
they
girls.
were at the Catholic schools, but they were all in uniform.
They were in uniform, so they'd all come in from the creek to go to all the Catholic schools, and I'd go to that woman's prison called Parkview Secondary School that's where I went. It was terrible. And I remember showing up at the variety store over by BR there, and there was this girl. She's like, it's like this every day. So we'd come down there for lunch and hang out with our skateboards and stuff. And I think that's around, I met you at Cope Park, I think. You were on a freestyle board or something like that.
No, I think the first time I met you was on the bus.
Probably on the bus doing stupid shit.
Yeah, it was like, it was that hip-hop thing in that club in Stony Creek, like right where Eastgate was. And
The Late Show or something. No, not The Late Show. Moviola. Yeah. It was Moviola or something at Eastgate. It was like a fucking, there was like beatings there like all the time.
shootings and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But so there's like a whole bunch of like black people on the bus or whatever. You come and sit on the side seats, pull your pants down, and grab a newspaper like you're taking a shit in the paper. And all these black guys are like, what the fuck is going on? And I was like, hey, do you skate?
Matter of fact, I do, neighbor. I'll see you down at the local park. Yeah, and then we just started running into each other because I think I was just coming off the back of my BMX career, and then I started skating a little more, and
You're doing the Ollie Venerials.
Ollie Venerials, yeah. Where I'd kick the board up, and flip it end over end.
It's called. It's a trick now. It's
Oh,
called
it is?
it's called Unpossible.
Oh, an Unpossible.
Yeah.
That sounds way more classy than the venereal. Old Barnacle Bill.
Yeah.
And then, let's see. We went down to the pool one time and ripped the fence out. And that was the beginning, I think.
What, at Bees? Or
Beasley, yeah.
Yeah. I remember it had the...
Yeah. I think you were there. I think you might even have been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we grabbed the post. Just make sure you go back
for
and
sure. Yeah.
And snap
There
that
was
off.
that other biker, Jesse too.
Reed.
You know what? I saw him in Vancouver.
Cool.
Jesse Reed.
Yeah, Jesse
Yeah.
Reed. He's in
Right on.
Vancouver. He's got a
Trippy.
daughter, a young daughter.
Oh,
he have
wow.
teeth?
No, his teeth are still broken.
Oh, God.
Poor Jesse's teeth are still broken. He's got the half moon.
But he made it out of Hamilton.
He did.
That's good, because there was a guy, I tell you, I thought, no way, that guy's never,
Hey, we were all write-offs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. The weird thing, most people always thought I was just like a party dude or whatever, but you know what? I was in school my whole life.
Yeah.
Literally from kindergarten till I was 30. So
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how I did it either. I really don't. I can't figure it out, to be honest. But
Yeah, well, you
something else.
you clearly enjoyed some aspect of it. You know, you were
Oh,
obviously
yeah,
in
yeah.
like creative type schools.
I partied, but it's just like it's weird. People think that's all you ever did or whatever. It's sort of strange.
Yeah. Well, they assume because you're a skateboarder that you're running from something.
Yeah,
You
really,
know?
eh?
In a way or another, you are, but there's still other unconventional aspects of your life that are hard work.
Oh, totally.
So, but
Skateboarding itself is hard work, you know? Like,
totally.
Like you try like 100 times to get one trick, and you just, it builds that work ethic up where you just keep trying and trying until you get it, and then you move forward.
Definitely, and I've taken things from the skateboard BMX community and the music community and applied it in my own career, and that was the thing, like learning how to fail.
Yeah.
Just getting used to falling physically and emotionally and getting back up and going, okay, what did I do wrong here? How do I approach this to make this safe?
Or getting injured too. It's the same.
to-
thing.
Yeah,
Assist
take your lumps.
and,
Take your lumps. Oh, I fucking hurt my wrist. I'm done.
Yeah, and like it's either people either quit, they break their ankle once and they're done, or
Yeah.
like me, I've broken over 50 bones and I just keep coming back like an idiot.
He's just told me he's walked away with a hairline fracture that he's been carrying around for 20 years. That was the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it
that's
just
your
broke.
injuries. But you were always a loose skater to begin with.
Yeah.
I never knew you looking to do like 20 stair stuff. I knew you were more than capable of it, but you were, and you and Scott, I don't know, I'm assuming Scott was influenced a lot by your skating.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I could see that, but it was all complimentary.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it wasn't.
Everybody skated with each other, right? And it wasn't like everybody always like there were some tricks, at a certain point, like Scott was just better, right? And
What was
and
his generation?
And same with Grant too, right? And I knew it. They were gonna catch me because it was all just coming to be, right? It was all just so.
Yeah,
so
totally.
I had a bit of advantage because I was probably hanging out there maybe like a year longer or something. So of course I was a bit better, right? And it's just like a weird place. Like it wasn't like skateboarding was never like football. Like you have to learn to ride every spot. So it was like that too. Like if we go out to Toronto. Then you go to Trinity Square. Well, of course, the locals there were better. People like Justin, people like Corbett. They knew all the lines, right? So it didn't take long for a guy like Scott to come there and
Adapt.
And get good. And then he got really good, and he was doing stuff I never even thought of trying And that was the beauty of our time, that we all were pioneers at a certain point.
Well, skateboarding was still growing at that point. Like the tricks were just, they were still being
Videos
invented.
were just coming out.
Yeah.
The only thing we had was still photographs from magazines. Like, okay, how does that happen?
8th Street video.
It was
the
Yeah.
Powell
before,
videos.
And
it
then
was
the- yeah.
before MTV, for Christ's sake. MTV went on air, I think, 84.
Yeah.
We were down there in 82, 83. I remember meeting you with, I can't remember if it was with Visera and that other kid, Conrad. And they were from the East End, too. And
The Conrad there was one Conrad from Lock Street. Actually, two Conrads. The one, the bigger Conrad that was kind of like a big muscular guy, and then the other Conrad that had the embassy or whatever.
So who were the usual suspects? I remember there was, and you guys would remember these names. This guys that kind of maybe skated at Christie's at the Dam and stuff too. That Asian guy with the long hair. It was like a
Paul Yang.
Paul Yang, and there was like they would show up out of the blue, rip the bowl apart, and then leave. I'm like, show us something else.
Well, there was like Paul Matuzak. There was Cam Getvey, Nathan.
Who's the vert skater that lived on the mountain in Bimbrook?
Job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Manning.
there were a bunch of guys from Grimsby,
Paul
too.
Cook.
Paul Cook,
Yeah.
exactly. Oh. Then there was that other guy later, but those are all the dudes later. We're talking early gen. There was Mike Rajak. one of the first guys I found out that I met, and it was Scott Regan.
Yeah.
And he used to
remember
come
he was
in to Hamilton
He was
to
one of those
skate
guys.
BJ's,
Yeah.
and then BJ's closed, and then they all just went to Beasley.
Yeah.
Because they had nowhere else. Everything was closed in Toronto, too. So,
And
weird.
Beasley, now looking at it's really, at that time it's a wading pool.
Yeah.
It was like a 2.5 foot high, maybe 3 foot high.
Yeah, exactly.
Bit of not really set up for skating, and then the park kind of Frankensteined itself around it and stuff.
Now,
What happened was they banned skateboarding in '88, and then
They banned it.
in
It was
Hamilton.
banned.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
There was a massive protest. Like
They
at
banned
at City Hall, there was
skateboarding.
probably about 1,000 skateboarders all sitting there, like screw this. And then as a concession, the city said, "Okay, we'll build you 2 parks." And we were supposed to get a vert ramp.
Oh, that metal thing on
And
the
the metal-
mountain.
and the first,
Terrible.
Well, actually, it's a good ramp now, but when they first built it, the transitions were only like a foot wide. It was like a wall ride, basically.
Yeah,
And
and the coping stuck out or something.
it was now the coping's still pretty small, but it's skatable. But
Yeah.
because they screwed it up the first time, the budget for the vert ramp got taken away, and they had to refix that ramp.
Yeah.
And then with Beasley,
A lot of money fixing it because it's like they had to reship it. They had to take it from Burnie Arbor, reship it to London on a truck.
Yeah.
And insurance and I don't know what,
yeah,
but
yeah.
then cut
Thousands.
it. It was like a 16-foot flat bottom.
Yeah.
You couldn't.
No.
And complete ellipses, 4 feet high, 4 feet diameter, just impossible to ride. Like.
They just look at something they saw on television and try to emulate it with no insight.
well,
from
they had
people
no
using,
idea.
Yeah.
And like even with Beasley, when they started designing that, like when they banned skateboarding, there was thousands of skateboarders in the city. By the time Beasley was built, there was, I think it was done in like November. It was on my birthday, November 17th, 1972. Oh no, 92. Sorry, that it was actually it was like my 20th birthday, and or 19th birthday, I think. No, 20th. So, anyways, they built it on that time. But by the time by the time the park was built, there was maybe 20 or 30 skateboarders in Hamilton. Skateboarding had died off so much.
Yeah.
And it was the first new school skate park on the Eastern Seaboard, all across North America. Like
What Beasley was?
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, but that was the benchmark for all skate parks. Like,
Yeah.
every
Here's a worst case scenario in Hamilton. We can only go
As far as the municipal planning and all of that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I can see that. And then they have a precedent to go, oh, look, we have done this in our city,
Yeah.
and now everybody has to jump through the same hoop.
Yeah, and like almost every week or two, there'd be someone else like from some other municipality or city in the States coming to look at the park and see what, like what they did. Like they're like, how are you getting away with insurance in this? And they're realizing skateboarders just don't sue skate parks. It just
they
never
don't shit where they
happens.
eat because they know if someone fucks it up, it's going to ruin it for everybody.
Exactly.
And then you'll be burned as a witch.
Yeah, and
So,
Yeah. You'll be ostracized for sure. I mean,
but there's a lot
pecking
of
order. And it's just like, yeah, you ruin it. I can imagine it. I mean, I don't know. I think, I guess so. Because then at that point already, people really did want to wear Beasley as a place to skate, right? What would they do, though? I don't think they could ever really stop a skateboarder.
no.
Like-
It's like trying to get rid of a bicycle.
But the thing, the kids aren't as self-motivated perhaps as we were. That if they're given the kind of aggressive policing they have now and everything, right? People will opt out to quit.
Yeah.
Just hanging out in public,
Yeah,
It's like
you'd be looking over your shoulder all the
most
time.
young people don't want to hang out or even think of let's go out and hang outside on our boards
But a lot of crazy shit has happened there.
oh god, yeah. Like I remember like when the park was first done, like every week.
What was that bush? Didn't you piss in the guy's bottles in the bushes?
Oh yeah, we used to fuck with all the winos all the time. We'd throw rocks.
I
at them.
know Jesse just had the biggest smile right now. Oh, the piss bottles.
Yes. Whenever they'd pass out, we'd throw rocks at them. We'd have like games, like,
Yeah.
you get them off the head, that's 20 points. If you get a dick shot, that's like 50 points. And then like, they'd wake up, you call them goof, which
Yeah.
is like the worst jail word you could call anybody.
Sure.
What'd you call me? And they
Yeah.
want to fight us, and they're wasted. And we just like, one time we there was this one giant guy, and someone called him a goof or whatever, and he got all pissed, but he was wasted. He was like probably 6'7", 6'8", like 300-pound dude. And he's like walking super slow. It was always coaches at Beasley. Like people would always be in there, would skate him and sit on him. So we started grabbing all the cushions and just whipping the cushions at him.
Stay down, Goliath.
Taking these big cushions off the head, still coming at us, and we're just like running, throwing more, like picking up the cushions, hitting him again.
Swarmed by teenagers and beaten by cushions.
And
How do you explain that to the
cops? He was
cops?
so mad. He was like,
Yeah.
it wasn't hurting him, but it was
Because he's been in bare knuckle jail fights, and now he's getting swarmed by Lord of the Flies with fucking
pillows.
Bed, Bath, and Beyond.
I remember another time there was this guy. We used to call him fucking Hulk Hogan, and he just got out of jail for manslaughter. And he looked like he was probably like about 5'9".
Because the Good Shepherd was down the street.
It's the triangle. You have the Barton jail. You have all the Good Shepherd, Wesley Center, and all that. So it's just like.
And Sally Ann uptown too, right? Then they go there too, right?
It's what like the scum of the city pretty much is.
Yes,
and
the pubic triangle.
Yeah, so there's
well, they got the court. That's right on John Street, and that's sort of that's where it goes back and
we
forth.
played in the middle of that.
Yeah, that was
our playground.
So that Hulk Hogan guy.
But it's weird. It's like the one pocket of downtown where, like, if you're not at. It used to be more dangerous to hang out at the mall.
Yes.
And at Gore Park. Now, and even now, it still is. Yeah.
Beasley was like there was. Like,
well, they cleaned it up a lot.
Well, we were responsible for
Yeah.
that. Basically, what the cops told us was like they're like, look, we know what you guys are doing here. Like like just police your own. Like as long as we're not here getting complaints. Police your own. So we'd fuck with all like the drug addicts and all that, and like we'd get in fights all the time. And the cops loved it because it started pushing them out of there, and then families started coming in.
Yeah, I saw families, kids on swings.
Yeah.
You never. That was
Back
a park
then.
you ran through at night.
Yeah, and so at with that Hulk Hogan guy though, he shows up and he's with this other guy. Like the other guy's like a total jailbird. Walks by, he's like, "What are you looking at?" To like Johnny McCaffrey. And Johnny's like, "Fuck off, you goof," or whatever. And he comes up, he's like, "I just got out of jail for manslaughter." He's screaming at Johnny's in Johnny's face, and Johnny's just like,
I just got out of jail for manslaughter. I'm down here at the Beasley Spa to kick back and relax. Forget about the murder.
But so he's pointing at Johnny's face, like screaming at him, and like saying like,
Is this Johnny? Was this in a bike accident?
Yeah. That's
Okay.
Johnny. So this is before he was all crazy, like when he was still a BMXer, and he's screaming at him. Johnny's just like, "Holy fuck, this guy's kind of gnarly." And
Johnny was gnarly.
Well, but
So
like,
it's a gnarly off.
It goes to show, right? So this guy he's screaming at Johnny, and Mia comes up. Remember Mia Lynn?
I think so.
That like raver chick. She committed suicide like last year.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I've had a few of my ex-girlfriends commit suicide
Yeah,
as soon as I pull out.
Yeah.
Suicide?
Yeah, she killed herself.
Oh, God, here we go.
I didn't know that, but
Let me get back to this.
anyway.
So she turns around, grabs her skateboard, and truck fucks a guy, like the Hulk
Whacks
Hogan
him.
guy, and it's like the board goes like boom, 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 bounces like
Oh.
yeah, and he just
like a diving board.
He just goes like he gets up and just looks at her, didn't even phase him.
Oh, no.
And she just dropped her board and ran.
Yeah.
And so there was probably about 15 of us there. And anytime like more than 2 or 3 people would come together, he would run between us to separate us. It was like a fucking
knows.
like anti-sheep herding dog.
Yeah. He
And-
knows. He knows how if you guys all come together, you make a human being.
Yeah. And
Like a transformer.
So he sees Andre, and he starts chasing after Andre. Remember, like the guy was like, "Ah!" He had like that weird voice or whatever.
Yeah.
And like biggest pussy in the world. Andre just bolts and runs through that first house, like on kind of Mary and Wilson. Mm-hmm. He runs right through the front door while people are eating dinner. Goes through the
To
side
get
door,
away?
out to the back. Hulk Hogan chases right after.
Right through the house?
People are eating.
Yeah.
These 2 guys come. Andre comes running back over hops over the fence. He comes hopping over. Then Andre like kind of hides.
Well, that was the thing, to get chased by homeless people and
Oh, it's the
taxi
best.
drivers.
Yeah.
Taxi drivers, the blue lines.
And we were having
had our blood on their bumpers.
Yeah, we had the time of our lives. Like we're fucking howling, and like then he's kind of like just yelling at us. He's like, "I'd fucking rape guys like you in jail for fucking breakfast." And
I don't like breakfast.
His buddy's like, the guy that's with him is this like waist case. He's still downtown all the time. You still see him. His nose is all busted.
Yeah.
That's for me. But
Okay.
so he's like every time that guy would talk, the drunk guy would be like, yeah, you tell him, Carl, you fucking goose.
You goose. Goose.
So someone, I guess the family that fucking had running through it, they called the police. And so the cops show up, and Hulk Hogan just bolts. But the other guy's too wasted to even notice. So cops like, where'd he go? They're like, he went that way. And so the cops leave, and that guy's still there, like the other guy. And I'm like, who's the goof now? I just like, wow, I'm on my skateboard, just fucking just rode past him and just cracked him in the face. And his nose just went, and his nose is still like that to this day. I still see him like asking for change downtown. It's like it's not like he was like some old guy. Now he's old, but like he was like probably like 35 at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And he was an asshole.
Riding at 10 speed with a case of beer on the handlebars.
Upside down
Yeah,
handlebars,
they turned the handlebars up.
Lost their license fucking for DUI. For fucking fighting with their old lady.
Oh, with a Tiger Cats jersey on and track pants. Well, there was all kinds
Tiger
of
Cat track
characters.
pants.
Yeah. Tiger tracks. What? So the 80s. But we had some fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Chase was fun.
Yeah,
Chase
there was a
one
lot.
of the best games. I remember
Jeez.
all the BMXers would have the tennis balls in their.
Rolos. We used to throw Rolos.
Yeah. Do you remember playing fucking skateball on top of art gallery?
Yes.
When we get the big plastic light balls.
Yeah. At the
And
art
we'd
gallery.
kick them around, and then usually we'd go bowling for cars afterwards and just let it roll down the hill on the King Street or Main Street.
Made out of fiberglass?
Yeah.
It was like a weird plastic, but they were pretty strong. Like eventually
They
they'd
bounce,
break.
yeah.
They'd be like, "Kung." They had that weird noise whenever they'd bounce. I remember we'd.
Like super art light, like big round balls that were for the lighting fixtures on the roof. They were special for that. And we'd just be like knocking them off.
Playing Euro Cup on the
Yeah,
roof of the art gallery.
I remember there was a big some big concert was going on or whatever. There was like everyone's like on Summers Lane getting like ready to go into the convention center.
And all that.
And
yeah.
someone takes one of the skate balls, fills it up with water.
Skate balls? They're renamed them skate balls. Don't they still sell those? The skate balls.
We got to patent that one, eh?
There's a Greyhound bus or whatever, like a tour bus, and the sunroof.
Were you dropping stuff
the
on people?
sunroof was open. And so someone goes from the art gallery and fucking like how like the roof it overhanged over like Summers Lane. And fucking the sunroof's right there, just pours all the water into the sunroof. I hear her screaming.
Yeah.
It was whoever was performing.
They're loading up.
Anne Murray with a fucking fishbowl of cat shit on her head.
Yeah, man. Wow.
There was a lot of.
So we didn't go to art gallery for a while after that one.
No. Can you still skate up
Perfect.
there?
Oh, it was
Yeah.
so perfect for that kind of thing because it's like you're about
No
a
one went up there.
story above people. They can't really chase you. It's
No.
like,
Plus, we had all the exits mapped out anyway. We knew
yeah.
exactly where to
and
go.
there were so many extra ways to get away. Now they've closed
extra
all
ways
the,
to get away.
Well, that was it, right?
Yeah.
Like all the parking lots used to be connected. Now they're all separated. Like you used to actually be able to skate from the convention center right to the basement of City Hall. Yeah. But they cut it all up. Like
Yeah.
And
It's
that,
boxing
you know,
off the city,
Yeah.
building walls.
Yeah.
These people stay here, these people here.
Yeah, we were lucky. We saw that last phase of building happen here, and now that we were lucky.
Yeah,
really well.
I think that we grew up, at the worst time in the city. Like, as far as the economy and what's happened over the last 5 years here,
Yeah.
I feel like I got ripped off.
Oh yeah, we completely.
You know what I
it's-
mean? Like, from, 71 to 93, I was here, and the city didn't get any better until, 2000?
No, I wasn't. I left. I left 99. I
You left
took
in 99.
off.
What was the
outta
end of
here.
the line for you?
Well, it was before that. I was tired of just being in a town where people thought it was, I was young. I wanted to get successful. I thought, if I stick in a steel town with jeans,
Yeah.
I'm never going to earn money being an artist or learn
No one's gonna
refined
take you serious.
people
Yeah.
or,
Culture.
And, so I had to go to Toronto.
How many times can you pour, skate balls of piss on homeless people?
Yeah, well,
that
just
started to wear thin for you?
that's part of being adolescent, say, right?
Part of being hilarious.
And part of being skateboarding too is like, you see you're like one guy, it's like 1, 2, 3 with the ages, right? Just here at the table now, right? So I mean, 71, 72, 73. So I mean, it's like we go down to Beasley, there'd be at least like 10 years of kids there now.
Yeah.
So it's like we'd all go run around and skate different spots or we might hook up downtown and then,
Oh, yeah. How many 7-Elevens did we
Yeah,
rob? He's smiling again.
exactly,
Or blow up.
And then what happens?
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay.
Remember the 7-Eleven on Holton?
Well, the firecrackers went off. Yeah, the kids, some assholes.
Yeah, someone. They went in there. They were doing a Sevron. Someone.
Someone? Were you a someone?
No, I wasn't. I was not a somebody at that point.
Okay, you were never a somebody at that point, but somebody.
Somebody went in to go.
Bottle rockets
They went.
or
They're
something,
smoking.
right?
It's when you could smoke in any store and do anything, right?
You could smoke in the store?
Remember, you could smoke in any store. Back when we were kids, you could smoke in Jackson Square. Yeah, remember everywhere you go, they.
Can you wrap that? Like, you
remember
could smoke
the
in a
Peter
store.
Jackson 15 pack?
Yeah.
That kind of shit.
I lost my virginity smoking a pack of those.
I had DeMaurier's. Where you could buy them for $3. It was the best.
And you could smoke.
Oh, you could
in
steal
the store.
cigarettes because they always have cigarettes right on the counter. We just rip them off. But so they go into the store and they're smoking and the lady's like, put that cigarette out. There's fireworks in here. And somebody flicks the cigarette.
No.
And so they're in the back, like they're in the back stealing pop and boxes of chocolate bars, and all of a sudden they hear like thump, thump, thump,
Yeah. And Bruce Coburn's "If I Had a Rocket Launcher" came on the thing.
And it caused 7-Elevens worldwide to stop selling firecrackers.
Shut
They
it down.
changed global policy.
Hamilton might not be a test market, but we will test your products. For you.
We'll give you the worst case scenario every time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, fucking lit up. It was like a family boxes. There were stacks of them.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
bricks of about half a dozen fireworks, family package, burning schoolhouse,
just
rocket
The
launchers,
whole thing just fucking
nail
went
bombs.
up like a-
Oddly enough, that 7-Eleven is where Jesse had just stole a dozen eggs, and we were sitting out front there with Rick Coombs, and Jesse threw an egg because there was a car wash across the street.
Yeah.
And the egg was like slow motion. It just traveled through the air.
That's what those guys always do.
And then it went boom on his door, and we're like, oh, fuck. And then he looks right at us. Down that one-way street. And you know how there's that island around the right?
Yeah.
So we bunny hop right across the dirt. He gets out of his car, grabs a crowbar from underneath the seat, and starts running. Well, he's wearing cowboy boots.
Yeah, now you're on there.
And there's sand on the shoulder, and he goes to whip it, and he slips, and his head smacks on the ground, and the bar goes ding, 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 and we go, ha, 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 ha. Oh, my
Bird,
fucking
yeah.
head. We took him
What
down.
a bird, yeah.
There was a lot of accidents. I think
Running on what did he slip on the oil on the
sand on the
asphalt
shoulder,
or something?
the sand from the because it was the spring, so that the street cleaners haven't been
salted
through.
it,
Yeah,
yeah.
so on the shoulders, he took a fucking high heel slip and shit. Don't wear cowboy boots and chase kids.
Yeah.
Read a book.
Another time, we're skating at CIBC, and it was with like all those guys from Florida, like Blair Hess and James Stroh and all those guys. And Manny was there. There's a bunch of us, and this fucking huge. This guy was like 6'10", biker guy's like walking by, and he's pretty wasted. And we stole one of the benches from in Jackson Square, and we had it on the bump at CIBC, so we're doing like nose blunt slides and shit on it. And the guy walks by, he's like, "Fucking skater faggots."
Uh-oh.
And Blair from Florida, he's like super. He's kind of burly. No one ever really knew how old he was. Like he was older.
Yeah.
But
38.
he had like a super high pitched voice, like, "What the fuck's your problem, man?" Like he's like going off at the guy, and Blair grabs a fucking bench, like it's plastic or fiberglass or whatever, and throws it, hits the guy off the face with it.
With a bench?
Yeah, it was like one of the square ones.
Was
Like,
he-
it was like 2 feet by 2
Yeah,
feet
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever. And the guy just takes it right off the face. He's like, "Fuck you, man! You fucking asshole!" The guy gets up and starts chasing us, and we're all running. If this guy like got even a hand on us, we'd be fucking dead. And he chases this guy, Matt. He was like some kind of weirdo that hung around. And for some reason, Matt just stood there, and the guy just started like beating on him. So the guys from Florida just started fucking truck fucking this guy. And it was bad. Like we saw the guy like later. He had like fucking
welts.
like no, he had like his neck was in traction. Like
yeah, it's like that's a funny hat. I didn't know it was spring.
we're like
There was a lot of physical confrontations in this.
Oh, the city was
Attacks.
it was violent. Like I remember like just every time just skating down the street, someone would be like, skater died. I'd be like, die, I'll skate or whatever. And they'd stop, punch the shit out of me. Like I remember getting robbed a few times. I've been fucking
fighting cops would fucking attack you too.
Like it was like getting the shit kicked out of you was like a common thing. And like you had to fight back or fucking hide in a corner. And like with all the skinheads too back then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was nasty. It was
you couldn't
crazy.
wear a flight jacket or a pair of boots downtown without getting rolled.
Yeah.
A
lot of people got rolled.
I got rolled at Eastgate when I was like.
It didn't matter if they didn't like you and you were down there and you weren't part of their crew. You'd be getting they just chase after you, right? But the one thing we had was better than a bike. Was a board. You could pop it up in your hand and smack someone with it, or at least keep them at a legs at long enough away so they couldn't kick you right in the head immediately with their boots. So, and knowing a couple of them was, always kind of good. Yeah.
Sure, some familiarity.
There were dudes that used to come up the alley there. This one guy, he was like a 7-foot dude named Corrigan. Or Kerrigan, I can't, but he was like, just like constantly just in and out of jail. He'd pull out a fucking knife, literally this long.
Yeah, no one was fucking around.
Just wave it around like it was nothing, He didn't say
different
shit
lifestyle.
Because, you'd be getting killed with it. Like,
well, that guy Apona, he used to, he'd just come through Beasley and he'd go up to people like, give me some money. And
Shakedown.
He grabbed one guy by the ankles and held him up and shook him, and until his money came out, took all his money and walked away.
Like an Archie's cartoon.
It was insane.
Totally like Archie's, yeah.
Or even remember Cyril Stonehill?
Yeah.
They fucking skinheads.
Him and his brother.
Yeah.
Right.
Skinheads took him, beat the crap out of him, rolled him up in a carpet, started kicking the carpet, then lit the carpet on fire. And then started kicking him and almost killed him.
Yeah.
That was every day. Those guys, I see them every day. They were being chased from King and James, and they were lucky if they made it to Houston before they'd have 5 guys on their ass, literally kicking that hell right out of them.
Oh, yeah.
Him and his brother Al, because they were both good-looking dudes, tall, blonde, thin-nosed, blue-eyed guys, and always had a chick, right?
Yeah.
And the skinheads would never get a chick. So they'd be pissed.
Yeah.
And that was really the source of it, right? That other guy, I know, Clint, he was the other guy who used to get chased from them. 3 dudes, I knew them
There was
all.
a lot of, you
and
had to be
one
aware.
punk guy, Ockington, was an Indian. He used to have a huge skit. He had a triple mohawk and shit. Yeah. Right?
That's the one who had the swastika tattoo on his forehead. Yeah. He's, Robbie, the red-haired kid? That's his uncle.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he comes by the bar all the time
That's
still.
his, no shit.
Yeah. It's crazy.
You know what? I saw the first punk show down at Hungarian Hall. I think it was fucking GBH. Yeah. And it was skinheads only, man. And Ockington was there, and this other guy, and I would not have gotten in there without them. But it was
Excuse me, sir. Pardon me.
It was crazy, yeah. And I didn't get in for long, but it was way, way back, right?
Well,
and Exploited and GBH, I think.
What year is this? 86?
It's got to be 83.
83. What were some of the first shows that you went to?
I never went. They never had shows. I was they never had shows. It was way, way later. I never went to any of that. It was we were just skating mostly. I never went
tickets.
No, and I was just we go to dances. They had DJ
a high school
dances.
cafe on the mountain.
No, they had
God.
I remember when
Skinny across the street. He used to DJ these shows in Dundas, for all the Westdale crowd and shit, and S&M dances. Those were like in the 80s, the sort of
S&M dances.
They were called Steve and Matt. And they had Ireson.
Showed up. Oh, we came to the wrong
That guy's got shit on his face. Am I at the right party?
They did it on like
Steve and Matt?
Yeah, they were two dudes, and the one guy
Like
he's
Chip and Pepper?
He's a gay chef now in Toronto. He's got this place called the Hogtown Cure Cafe. Fucking great food, I'm sure. But and a great guy, don't get me wrong. They had the best parties and they had the best music. Like
gay people have the best drugs and parties.
And Skinny learned everything from those.
What was that, Scott?
Skinny learned everything from those two guys. Not
Entrepreneur types.
And they used to piss. They would go and rent churches.
Yeah,
and then
400 kids would show up.
Right, and then we'd all show up. It was like stealing our parents' wine, or somebody'd have a Portuguese, family, and then they'd steal wine. And we get all pissed on wine and go there because it was like they were non-alcoholic, and nobody, we'd be smoking outside basically. But then, everybody'd end up getting beat up by skinheads eventually.
It was a lot of running in this town.
Yeah. It was fun.
I know. Keeps you on your toes.
They tried to have a reunion for Westdale, I think, a couple of years back, and do the dance at the Dundas Town Hall there, the old armories, but they said no way. Right? They remember the last one that
bringing
happened.
These older, bitter assholes
They
back.
had both floors, and people were upstairs drinking, and there was vomit everywhere, and they ruined the church, basically,
What were those raves?
Oh, that was like the 96 Wilson. That was like the Eclipse parties. They were,
I remember.
yeah.
We went through. I always just remember
And all
pink
those
vomit,
Polish dudes.
pink puke.
They were all those Polish dudes.
Ollie Barkerman.
Yeah.
Joe Caltagirone, Alex from Scotland, Graham from Gorilla Cheese.
Okay. I was wrong. I thought they were Polish dudes.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, man.
But they threw the first parties. Like who was it? Like Richie Houghton would be there. Like John Aquaviva. Like
Who's that guy? They had the Steel City Records and those guys.
That's Ollie.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
There was always ecstasy and puke everywhere.
Oh, it was amazing. Like we do tons of acid and speed and fucking ecstasy, and just go there and then go skate at Bees and go back and forth. And there was the Sweet White Rose. It was called. It was a Jamaican bar that was like on. It's a mechanic shop now, but it used to be like a after hours Jamaican bar, and they would spill over. And this one guy, I remember his name was Spango, and he came.
Spango? Wasn't that your stripper name?
Do you remember Soul City above Tivoli?
Yeah. But
That was a fucked up, but that was the first.
Everyone's having Vietnam flashbacks here. I can see everyone's eyes going, "Oh yeah, I remember that too."
But yeah, there was he came in and he had a gun and he's dancing. You could see like a gun in his back.
Yeah.
And we're all like on acid, like, holy, what the fuck's going on here? And then they started moving the parties to like what was it on Cavell Street, like the old flea market.
Yes.
But then the 96 Wilson now is a mosque.
Yeah.
And it's
They had
hilarious.
a party in a mosque.
Well, no, that's it's a mosque now.
Oh, it's a mosque now.
Like they're right across from Beasley, that green and white.
There's
building.
done a ton of drugs.
Yeah,
in
there's
that
been
place.
so
I couldn't
many.
leave one time. I was
was-
paralyzed with fear.
For decades, like a place like that, eh? Yeah. I knew a dude. He had the basement there too for years and years. Later, he had like an art gallery downtown and stuff.
It was sketchy. That was awesome.
Well, there's not much of that left. There's really not any sketchy parts in
Party
the city.
spots left.
No.
No, because nobody's that self-abusive anymore.
I'll wait.
I don't know. That I know
Yeah.
anyway. I'm just saying about the people that I'm talking. I'll speak for the people I know. There.
Sure.
But, I mean, I know they're everywhere, right? I mean, it'll never go away, right? But I know it's just not the same, right? That it's more contrived, and people are really in an enclave that they're paid to be at, and then they do their dope or whatever. I can, I'm sure that kind of shit goes on, right? But I don't know. Yeah, I think it was pioneering times back then for it all, right? And there was a lot more younger people, like all those dudes that they were awesome, because there was a vacuum There was no music going on. There were no real dance parties. There were just sort of a bunch of mediocre, shitty rock bands that have always
dive
been
bars,
here. And they'll always be there, and you hear them, and they murder Neil Young, and it's just awful, right? So it's just awful. That was why I left Hamilton, right?
Because of Neil Young?
Well, just because of that kind of shoddy, kind of
Half-assed,
artist.
yeah.
That just, you know.
Well, that's why this is a great place to get away from, to do that kind of stuff.
I loved it.
I know, you're sick. I tell Scott, hey, I'm in Toronto. You want? I'm not going to fucking Toronto.
Hamilton's right here.
Yeah, but you're
Toronto. You really don't. You know what Toronto proved to me too? And it's because I learned how to do what I'm good at.
Anywhere.
You learn it by yourself, and you learn it anywhere. And that's why I know what he's saying, right? You don't need to be in Toronto to be good at what you're at.
Scott's like Pauly Shore and Biodome.
But he's quite a business guy too, so I know.
I love how shitty Hamilton was. Like now that it's changing, I'm starting to like it
Well,
less.
you put in your time.
Yeah, it's like I liked it because people hated Hamilton. That's why I loved it.
Well, you were always an individual. That's like, I think we all kind of wanted to do our own things.
Yeah.
And if people didn't like it, it just motivated us to get better at it.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you think I suck? Well, watch this.
Yeah.
I'll show you.
There's only a
good motivator.
bar. You
Totally.
can set the bar yourself.
I hate Hollywood. I'm completely there out of spite.
Yeah.
I don't want to be there.
Yeah, you
That's
don't.
full of
you don't-
assholes.
You're smart enough to know you're not from there.
Totally. You know how many
And
times I've
you're
had to put
going
my
there
hands in my
for a
pocket
job.
from not punching people in the face?
I
It's like,
can't-
that's the thing that I think that's come extinct is punches to the face.
I still.
You still hand them out? Fuck. Good for you,
Elbows
buddy.
too.
Elbows to the
I'm
face?
sick of breaking my hands.
Yeah.
Exactly, me too. Just too many fools that break your hand on and not enough hands.
Yeah.
Do you hear what happened on Christmas last year here?
No. Was it white?
What?
Was it White Christmas?
We did a bunch of the bars at Hess. We had like a turkey dinner for
Oh, yeah,
all
yeah.
the homeless. So
Yeah, contrary to all this crazy shit that you've all just heard just now, we've all kind of come full circle. We haven't burned anything or hurt anyone in about an hour and a half.
I was. I haven't been in jail for about a year now. So,
Yeah.
well, Cuban jail, anyways.
Cuban jail.
But so yeah, we did this Christmas dinner, and everything goes off pretty good. Because we fed, I think like 1,500 people got fed throughout the whole thing, and then closed the bar down for a couple hours. And I always open up on Christmas Eve. Like it's just like a Misfits Christmas kind of thing, and it's always usually pretty busy. So I had like security and stuff like that. And these two guys come in, and they're both like maybe in their 50s, but you could tell just full jailbirds. Like been in jail their whole lives. And the one guy is like kind of like super leathery looking, like just like look like a catcher's mitt basically, and blonde hair, just total like fucking redneck. And his other buddy's like a bigger guy, about 230, and like 6'2" or whatever, like broad-shouldered guy, and. So it's kind of a bear, but so they go into the bank. They go to use the bank machine.
I put the mic on his chin, and his first instinct, I'll just lick that out of the way. Not even confused. He'll like, I'll handle this.
But so the guy starts punching the bank machine. He's like, "Your bank machine ripped us off," and we're like, "No, man, like it never rips people off." And he's still punching it. So I come up there with security, and he goes to try to use it again, and he's trying to take out $5.
Oh, yeah, of
On a
course.
bank machine.
It's a $3 service charge.
Yeah, it's like, sorry, it doesn't. We only do 20s. Yeah, your machine ripped me off. Starts punching again. I'm like, all right, it's time to go. So the one guy throws his drink at our security guard. The other guy takes a swing at me, and I just kind of duck down.
That's their day.
Yeah.
That's how these guys. This
Oh,
is their
this
day.
gets
They're
so
not.
much-
They're not surprised.
This
Yeah,
gets
they wanna
so
turn
much.
something off over $5.
Yeah.
Oh, this is where it gets good though.
Okay.
So they go. The bigger guy. I kind of manhandle him, and he threw a punch at me. So I'm like, all right, fuck you, right? So I drag his face kind of against the wall as I'm kicking him out, and then I open the door with his head, and I kind of throw him down to the ground. He falls or whatever. They get outside, and the smaller guy, is like, "Where's my cell phone?" He's like, "My fucking Nokia."
Yeah, my flip, my razor.
My $200 Nokia. I want my fucking phone back. And we go look inside. There's no phone. We're like, there's no phone here, buddy. Like, beat it. So he's screaming and yelling for about like 5 minutes, and they leave. They go around the block, and the guy comes sneaking up and sucker punches our security guard. So we lay him a beating or whatever, right? Like, fuck. You know, as soon as you hit someone, you got to defend yourself,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Yeah.
So they leave again, and then they come back with the cops.
Yeah.
And the cops are like...
My phone's stuck in the bank machine.
So the cops are like, look, man, we know who these guys are. They're complete
Losers,
fucking
yeah.
shitbags. And
They're ruining Christmas.
like, we just have to go in and take a look for the phone. And I'm like, sure, let's go take a look. And they're like, okay, no worries. I'm like, look, can I put a trespassing order against these guys? I know I can't charge them because they're drinking and spar or whatever. And it's impossible like to get like an assault charge on something like that. Anyway, so the cops are, I'm like, look, I just want to put a trespassing or act against them because you know this isn't over. They're coming back. And they're like, well, if they do, just call us. I'm like, okay. And they put the trespassing thing. And the big guy's calling me a psycho. He's like, that guy over there, he's a psycho. He ain't right.
I'm a business owner, asshole.
And so it's 2:30 now, and like the bar's closed. People are outside smoking. We're closing up, and it's Christmas Eve. No cars on the road, anything. All of a sudden, I hear we look, and it's a big guy with a fucking gas-powered chainsaw walking across Main Street towards the bar.
With a chainsaw?
Yeah, he's like, you fucking goof! Everyone, people smoking, they're just like, holy fuck. Like, everyone, get inside.
Well, at least he laid it to last call.
Yeah. And then so
was gentlemanly.
we get everyone in, we lock the doors. I call 911. I'm like, hey, man.
This guy with a
This guy with a chainsaw here.
Oh, we know who he is.
And I'm howling. They're like, is this a joke? I'm like, no, it's not a joke. You better get here before people die.
Yeah.
Right? So
you love this stuff.
Oh, yes, I was howling. I'm like,
a chainsaw too? My goodness me.
So
I'm like, holy shit.
the only thing that would have made, like, he stopped about 10 feet before the bar. I guess he had to make the decision. Either I'm going to go down in Canadian infamy and have like a massacre of 30 people, or I'm going to go home and hopefully not go to jail for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And the only thing that would have made it better is if he would have took the chainsaw off the railing and made sparks.
Yeah. 9, 10, never sleep again. You're ruining Christmas, asshole.
So he starts walking away. So I go out there. I'm like, hey, where you going, you goof? You fucking diddler. I start calling all the jail words. You can see him like,
oh, yeah, it's his kryptonite.
So
you start throwing jail talk around some proper scumbags.
Yeah,
and they get the hair stand up on their neck.
Yeah.
Especially in this town. Yeah.
So he's like, stop it. Then he walks again, and I call him like another jail word. And he's just like, you can tell he's just pissed, but he knows that he can't. If he comes back, the cops are coming, right? So
Yeah.
he keeps walking. The cops show up, and like 20 cop cars show up.
Yeah,
They're like,
chainsaw. They're not even there for the protection. They want to see it.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we gotta come see this. The chainsaw. So we're all going. Grab your coffees, boys.
So I with the cops, I'm like, look, they just had a police report against us. You know exactly who they are. Let's go find them. So they go in. The guy's on his couch with his fucking chainsaw.
Of course. And the cap's off. There's gasoline all over his shirt with a lit cigarette in his mouth.
So he spends all day, all Christmas in jail. I think they let him out like a week later. He only lives like on like 2 blocks away.
How can you afford to live in this area? Is there some welfare
Oh no,
housing?
there's subsidized housing over there.
Oh, okay.
So, I guess he's not allowed in Hess Village now. He only goes to Doors Pub like across the street. And like I heard of it. It was at the IDA over there, like at the pharmacy, and I'm in a hall, or I'm in like one of the aisles or whatever, and he's in the next aisle across from me talking to someone. He's like, "Yeah, I'm not allowed to go into Hess Village anymore. I took my chainsaw down there. I was gonna kill a couple guys, and I got arrested."
He talked about it like it was on his keychain. Yeah, the old chainsaw. What are you gonna do? You know what I'm talking about.
The old ball and chainsaw.
Well, there's no shortage of like psychotic people.
Oh, it's the best.
You've seen like
I forgot how trashy Canadians can really be. Like, I'm like, I forgot. Like, really,
Like that's the stuff I love. Like it's
Scott's the only guy I know that hears breaking glass or siren and he smiles. When
Yeah.
everyone else is looking for exits, he's like, my goodness.
the one time in Cuba,
action.
we're in where we're doing the charity work down there for the like skate park and all that.
Yeah, do you want to explain?
I run a charity in Cuba where I bring skateboard shoes and I work with the Cuban government. We're building a skate park down there. I've been doing it for like 8 years. But I think it was like the 4th time we went.
Did you just go on a whim to a trip there to check out the scene?
Well, I heard about it, so I
You
just
heard
went
about
there
it.
with a bunch of skateboards, slept on the street for the first couple nights, and then I hooked up with some skaters, and then
Yeah.
rest is history. So anyways, we the one time we go down, we bring like 250 brand new boards. Like I think it was like 300 pounds in shoes and like just a whole bunch of stuff, right? Like set all these people up. Everyone's skating.
How is it for the freight? Who pays for the freight?
I paid. I raised money, but it came out of. I spent like $5,000 out of my own pocket
to ship all this shit.
And so we get everything across. Now I got to deal with Sunwing, like with the airline. Like they put me on like their employee list, so I get like really good deals.
Oh, great.
So, anyways, we just come back from the skate park. We were like doing some repair work on it, and the day before, the cops were like following us around. I go to my friend Che, who's like kind of like the Havana version of me down there, and he's like one of the OG guys or whatever. I go, these cops, this isn't good, is it? He's like, no, they want to know who you are. They want to know why there's so many skateboarders now.
Oh, I think you're a minor celebrity, and they don't know why everyone's attracted to you.
They think we're Americans, right? So and this is before.
Why is that bad?
Oh yeah, the Cubans. There's a lot of beef with them.
Do you do the Canadian flag on your bag and shit?
No. They don't. No, they know we're like most people know we're Canadians, right? Like,
but the police.
The police just didn't know. They want to know who we were. So I think they had their intelligence services following us too, which is like their CIA. And so we go to this. We go from the skate park to this place called 23 and G, which is the street where all the skaters hang out, and it's a really busy area. And my friend Cody just puts his skateboard on the ground. As soon as he puts his board on the ground, cop goes up and arrests him. I'm like, "What are you doing?" And cop's like, "I'm sorry, we have to." And I kind of knew. I'm like, "Okay, they want to know who we are," and so.
They speak English at all to you?
A little bit.
Okay.
But, so my friend,
Of course, they picked the big blonde guy, eh? The pretty blonde
he was the first one to put his board on the ground. So Cody puts his board on the ground. They arrest him. I say something to him. And then my friend Orly, who's a Cuban guy, he's from like a Havana skater. His like grandfather was personal friends with Che Guevara. He's from this area called New Vedado. It's like a more middle class, like more affluent area of Cuba, I guess you could say. But so anyways, he goes up to the cop and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing? Like, these are Canadians. You can't do this." And the cop's like, "Mind your own fucking business." And he's like, "No, these are my fucking friends." Cop turns around and starts beating the fuck out of him. And I'm just like, holy
Do they have guns? Are they armed?
No, the cop, only the military does. So,
only the military. Oh, so there's a fist fight in there, maybe.
Yeah. So basically, he's beating the fuck out of Orly, and this other guy, my other friend Fierro, he's like a surfer, like MMA guy. He's a big guy, and he longboards and stuff too. But he actually has a kid named after me now.
I think there's a bunch of kids that are not named after you, but there might be wandering around. No kids.
No kids.
I've still haven't learned how to drive a car.
Yeah.
So you're getting beat by the police.
Orly's getting beat by the cops, and Fierro just runs up and just, boom, drops the cop, knocks him out. I'm like, holy fuck! Another cop comes running up with a fucking billy bat or whatever, and goes to hit Fierro. This other guy comes up and just drops that cop. I'm like, woo.
Toy soldiers.
I grab Cody. I'm like, run. And so all the skaters run, and I stick around. I'm like, this is fucking great. More cops running up. Everyone that was waiting at the bus stop, because the cop's beating up a little, like, not a little kid, but he's
Teenager.
a pretty small guy. Yeah. And so more cops come, more people are fighting. It's like a fucking, every second was like an hour. It was amazing. Like, I was just like, this is the fucking best. Like, just watching all this chaos.
Oh, I know. I'm there with you. I can see the look on your face. We're both on this train.
So
he loves it.
So I out of nowhere, all of a sudden, a cop grabs me from behind and like tries to put me in a choke. I'm like,
I've been choked before, faggot.
I'm not even
Till
hard
I
yet.
get hard. Try shitting on my chest to make it weird.
So I reach behind, I grab his cock.
You grab his cock? Yeah, from Hamilton, buddy. I'm a dick grabber.
I twisted it. He kind of lets go, and I hip toss him and just let the cop fly it. And I'm like, okay, it's time to go. So I book it down the street, and it's downhill. So I just hop my board, out of there, and then. And I love, like, everyone else was like as soon as we got back to the hotel.
You've been in those situations so many times.
And I thrive in them. And so everyone's like.
You're lucky.
I thrive in them.
So
near executed in a foreign country at gunpoint. He ran. We shot him.
So they ended up. We go back to the hotel, and I brought like 14 people from Canada with me.
I think you see a 14-year-old. I'm like,
they're all shitting their fucking pants. They're like, we're not going back into the city. Fuck this.
Yeah.
And then
I run this city now, motherfucker. Did you see me just grab a cop's dick?
I have anxiety now.
So I go to the next day. They ended up arresting Orly, and they charged him with pickpocketing and assaulting an officer. saying he was pickpocketing the tourists. And
Oh,
assaulting an
sure.
officer.
To give.
So we go to the police station, and like his grandmother was already there. As soon as I show up with his grandmother to the police station, no one else would come. Everyone else is like, "Fuck this!" They stay home.
Yeah. They don't want to go in the clink.
Yeah,
you want to go see what the door looks like. You fucking animal.
So we go there, and they're like, "Get off our property," because they never see a tourist come with a Cuban citizen to get someone out. It never happens. So they're like,
Oh, sorry. A tourist come in with a Cuban citizen.
Like,
okay, an outsider.
Yeah.
You're okay.
So they're like, well, what the fuck? Like, we can't just get away with this now. And I'm like, I got media here. Like, we had this. Steve Haining was a filmer. He actually came with us, and
Yeah, we're journalists.
yeah. And I'm like, I'll go to the Canadian Embassy right now. Like, this is fucking bullshit. I want this guy out of here. We run a charity. You know, we're not doing anything wrong. Your cop assaulted one of our friends. Like, just going off. And they're like, you have to go to the Ministry of the Interior, like, to deal with the military. So go to the military, talk to a supervisor there.
He's relentless.
And they're like, yeah, it'll take a couple weeks. I'm like, no, now.
Yeah.
And like, I'm freaking out. My friend Tito's with me. He's like another Cuban guy. He speaks like
This
perfect.
Canadian's really aggro.
Well, I went to bat for him.
You know, the story is there, right? Because it's military. You have to, it's different.
them in their language.
Yeah.
So
Smart.
we stick around this police station or the military station for like 4 hours. All of a sudden, like military police come up, like guns drawn and stuff. Like, get in the car. We're like, okay. We hop in these little Ladas. We're driving through the city. End up in Old Havana at like this like 5-star hotel. And there's like
There's a sawhorse and a gag ball.
there's a translator, a court-appointed lawyer, attorney, a crown or district attorney, a rep from the military, rep from the police, rep from the intelligence services, and we had to go in this conference room and give all these statements. And like we're like I'm like, you have cameras right there. You know for a fact you'll be able to see this.
Where it happened?
Yeah.
There's CCTV
Yeah.
cameras. Oh.
And-
So there's tape.
Yeah, and so like there was like a little bit of a break, and then the guy from the intelligence services, he spoke English. He's like, "Look, man," he's like, "I'm really sorry this happened. Please don't think all our cops are like this.
Yeah.
like this, like we'll handle this."
Did
And
you
he's like,
give him the Hamilton salute and say "fuck the police" and
No,
stuff?
no. Well, he was actually really cool. He's like, "Look, like." He's like, what you guys are doing is great, and like, really, what was supposed to happen is we just wanted to find out who we were.
Yeah, the cop was a bored cunt.
Yeah, it's like I'm like that cop fucked everything up for you. If like everything would have went smoothly.
Yeah, you were in army fatigues walking through the city. You were on a skateboard.
Yeah.
What kind of racket are you in?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and
It's
he was-
easy prey. It's a lazy thing to do.
Yeah.
Is to go after skateboarders. That's a lazy thing.
So yeah, they ended up we signed everything. Everything was done, and then the next day they let him out, and all charges were dropped. It was pretty intense. And then me and him ended up going to jail last year. We brought the CJ Ramon in from the Ramones.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing like the first American punk show, and the night before, me and Orly got caught spray painting, and so we got in jail. I stuck my cell phone in, took photos.
You stuck your cell phone in where?
into
In
jail.
your ass?
No, under my shoe.
Oh, under your shoe, asshole.
It's not that big.
What do you call it? You keistered it?
Yeah.
It's an iPad.
Prison purse.
He keistered an iPad, like an old one. The first generation iPad.
But so the guard fell asleep.
What do you mean? What is this? Mayberry? The guard fell asleep.
I'm not shitting you, man.
Blazing Saddles? Oh, you took a picture of the guard?
I was posting it on Facebook while I'm in jail. I'm like,
no,
hi guys,
no.
I'm in jail. And the guard fell asleep, so we're taking selfies.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, watch.
Can people see this on your Instagram?
Yeah, it's on there. Then the next day is like the Ramon show. Favorites. Here we go. Watch.
Under favorites. I don't even want to know what the rest of those are. Is Boomer's asshole in there?
There's dick photos for sure.
Is Boomer's asshole in there?
Let's see.
Old
that's-
Leatherface.
like that's in there.
That's a shitty jail.
Oh, it sucked. It was the worst, but he fully passed out.
Oh.
So he started
Is that
taking.
like a sandwich on his shirt?
Yeah, I don't, dude.
What did it
That-
smell
that's
like?
that's
in
what,
jail?
oh, it was horrible. Just smelled
Was it like
shit.
piss?
And then that's CJ Ramon there.
Yeah.
And then that's the first American punk show in Cuba.
That's
It
hilarious.
was $1 to get in.
Well, we're
I thought that was so rad, man. I heard about that. Who else were they playing with? They had some other people on.
There was a guys from the Adolescents too, but yeah.
That was sick. That's sick. I love them too.
I was talking to them. I'm like, yeah, I just got out of jail, and like explaining the story. They're like, you're fucked. I was like,
They're going.
This happens all the time in Cuba. Like this is just, it's par for the course. Like
my friends are in a band, and they were in South America, and they were kidnapped at gunpoint, and were going to be executed and all this shit. Like it gets gnarly fast.
Oh, they're heavy there. Yeah.
There's a music festival. This one guy from Italy runs in Cuba. It's called Brutal Fest. It's a metal festival. So it's all metal bands from either Canada, like Switzerland, Hungary, and all that shit. Mm-hmm. And they all come and just tour. And like they don't really do it for money. They do it for the experience. And they're saying like some of the shows that they do, like in near Santiago and all that, and Holguin, they're more rural areas. And they'll go to this. They get taken to the shows in like horse-drawn carriages.
Oh yeah,
it's fun.
Oh, we're spoiled.
And it's the most metal thing we've ever done. Like we were talking to this one band they're called
hanging off the back. Let's go to the metal show.
This one band
called Cranked.
This one band called Super Butt. They're from Hungary.
Okay.
We were in the same hotel with them, so we like end up drinking with them almost every night.
You do take a lot of things for granted growing up in Canada.
Yeah.
Like you go to other countries. I remember waking up in a hotel in South Africa and looking out the window, and people were walking to work for miles as the sun's coming up. Like hundreds of people on the highway just walking and walking.
Really?
That's their job every morning. With like shitty shoes and a 3-hour that way, and then go work 10 hours and then 3 hours. Yeah, walk back to the shanty towns. Yeah, it's like I got nothing to complain about. Like
we got smooth sidewalks and urethane wheels.
Yeah.
It's like I noticed that just being in Germany, right? Like because it's like,
oh yeah, England, everything's all old and fucked
Europe,
up.
All the big cobblestones just everywhere. You can't
Budapest.
Kill your boots in a month, right? Mm-hmm. I had Doc Martens or Airwear boots here. They never went bad, Like I never ruined the sole on.
Yeah,
I'm
still wearing them.
There, I ruined the sole on mine in I think it took like half a year. We were gone, like just walking around the city, right? Like,
yeah,
a lot of walking around there.
All right, are you online? Where can people find your work and what you do?
Nowhere.
Right,
I'm
Fuck
offline. I'm off grid. I'm not. People know me, and that's good.
Cool.
Who know me?
Do you want anybody to reach out to you on Facebook?
Not necessarily.
No. And Scott, what's your Instagram?
Scott and Destroy. So like SCOTTANDDESTROY. So Scott, like Skate and Destroy, but Scott and Destroy, all one word.
And people can find you in local like NAMBLA chat rooms and stuff.
Yeah. Lord, I was born a Namblin man.
Lord, I was born a Namblin man. Well, I really appreciate you guys being on the show. And it's Friday night in Hamilton. Let's make some bad decisions.
Yeah, I got a wedding tomorrow, so I got to be good.
Well, like I said, let's make some bad decisions.
Okay, I'm in.
Let's go.
All right, guys. Thanks again. And what do I got coming up? Just finished my My Enemy Is Myself tour here in Canada. I'll be here for another week. And then I'll be heading off to New York and then Los Angeles for December to do some shows. And we'll see what happens in the new year. You can find my album on iTunes, Jason Rouse, Rotten. You can buy that. And thanks for listening to the podcast.
Woo-hoo! So good.
Safe word! Safe word! Safe word! Safe word!
Don't kiss me on the mouth. Don't ask if you're hurting me. And if you hear the safe word, stop what you're doing immediately. Do you have pantyhose?